The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Lynden, Washington, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 40254. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting first, on the face of the front bumper, you'll find dual air horns on the outside edge of the front bumper. Just inside that location on the officer side, you'll find your mechanical siren. There are 2 protruding tow hooks through the face of the front bumper. These are operational use, 6,000 pounds direct pull only. Also, electronic siren and PA speaker in the center. Moving up onto the bumper extension, you'll find a swivel discharge on the officer side. Just inside that location in the center, you'll find hose storage location. Let's move now to the cab face. On the outer edge of the cab, you'll find a marker turn indicator light, headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights. Just up from that location, emergency warning lights. As we move to the windshield, you'll find 3 windshield wipers across the seamless one-piece windshield. On the outer edge at the A-pillar, you'll find your mirror housing a flat and convex mirror. Moving up to the brow of the apparatus, there are 5 identification clearance lights and also a brow light located at the very center section. On each edge of the cab roof, passenger and driver side, you'll find an emergency warning light bar. You'll also find over the driver's seat your Opticom. Moving up to the top of the ladder area, there are 2 on the passenger and 2 on the driver's side tip lights, along with your master stream device located in the center. Let's take a look at the vehicle from the driver's side, and then we'll focus in on the cab section next. As we move to the front axle, you'll find Alcoa wheel, visual sight gauge into the center of the axle. On the bumper extension, an emergency warning light. Moving up to the cab face, on the outer edge of the A-pillar, you'll find your marker turn indicator light. Easily accessible with a gloved hand. These are your door lock and latch combination. They are keyed. You'll also find at the front door a grab handle for gaining entry in and out of the cab and maintaining 3 points of contact. Over the front axle, you'll find an emergency warning light. There are 2 auto ejects. One is for shoreline power and the other is for your air inlet. You'll also find an LED water tank level indicator. And at the very top section on the roof, you'll find a side-facing scene light. We'll come back to the pump panel area in just a few moments. Let's move on to the body section next. Moving into the body section, you'll find 2 stabilizers, one on the front section of the body and one toward the rear. You'll also find your folding wheel chock storage location just in front of the tandem axle. As we move toward the rear, you'll find your stabilizer pads located at the rear. Moving now into the rub rail, you'll find emergency warning lights side facing. Also moving into the forward section of the front axle is where you'll find your marker turn indicator light. There are 4 pan doors located in this area. First one you'll find is your DEF fill location, SCBA bottle storage location, fill location for your ultra low sulfur diesel, and then also an additional SCBA bottle at the rear of the apparatus. As we move now to the top section of the body, you'll find a side-facing scene light, and at the very rear of the apparatus, an emergency warning light. Let's move around to the rear of the apparatus next, where we'll find on the outer edge a marker turn indicator arm, also your cluster of lights back in the back, which is going to be an emergency warning, brake, turn, and reverse light. As we move up the side, you'll find work lights on each side, rear-facing scene lights, and then also emergency warning lights at the very top section.
As we move down to the bottom, you'll find your large diameter aerial inlet. It's the American flag Eagle. Also, as we move to the rear portion, you'll find 2 protruding tow hooks, and then also several pan doors located in the back. There are 3, 1 at the bottom and 2 on each side, which is also your hose chute. Full view of the side of the vehicle will start in on the body section next, starting first with your exhaust, which is located on this side. As we move into the mid section, we'll come back to this in greater detail, and then on to the cab section next. Same configuration and layout as you have on the driver's side. Let's go ahead and go inside the cab now. We'll start first with the door panel. Affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch combination, electric window controls, and a grab handle. As we move into the space of the driver, you'll find when plugged into Shoreline Power, the battery voltage will indicate battery status. Also find this yellow placard indicating the date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, and gross vehicle weight rating. VIN number, cold tire inflation, and also your fluid capacities for each component, fluid capacity, and fluid type. As we move to the floorboard, you'll find a foot pedal which will control the mechanical siren. Just inside that location, about the left knee of the operator, is where you'll find your master battery switch and also the tech module and engine transmission ABS diagnostic port, along with the display port. Some switches down on the very bottom for ABS diagnostics, DPF regen, engine diagnostics, and regen inhibit. You'll also find your differential interaxle lock located here just above the master battery switch. To the opposite side of the steering column, you'll find your pump shift. There are instructions from road to pump and from pump to road. Your flat mirror control and convex mirror control just to the right. Your vehicle is equipped with a supplemental restraint system, an airbag, along with controls on the steering column. As we move to the left to the dash, you'll find your start ignition switch, a switch labeled EM, which stands for Emergency Master. This will engage or disengage all emergency warning lights. Also your headlights and a switch labeled panel, which will brighten or dim lights within preview of the operator. To the right, you're okay to engage your high idle switch and indicator. As we move up to the dash cluster, we'll start on the left-hand side with your transmission temperature, oil pressure, def level, and water temp. To the right, volts, fuel, front and rear air. Tachometer and speedometer in the center. Diagnostic information will display above and below the speedometer and tachometer, along with a digital display just below the tachometer and speedometer. Let's take a look just to the right of the dash area. You'll find at the very top section a display monitor that is touchscreen and also function buttons. Moving now to the switches just below this area, you'll find first your engine brake on and off, settings for low, medium, and high, air horn or select, mirror heat, load manager, and off-road traction control. As we move down, your pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release, it is the yellow diamond for your spring brakes. You'll also find your Allison transmission pad, digital readout, informational note here to pump in drive. As we move to the right, you'll find climate control for heat, air conditioning, and defrost. As we move further to the right, you'll find a push button for your siren brake, which is for your mechanical siren. You'll also find these red and white labeled indicating spare wiring behind the panel. As we move overhead of the operator, you'll find this yellow placard indicating the height of the vehicle, 11 feet 9 inches, length of the vehicle 41 feet 3.75 inches, and a gross vehicle weight rating of 66,800 pounds. If you make any adjustments that may alter this placard, please update the placard for your operator. Let's move just to the right where you'll find rocker switches. These are for your emergency warning lights. We'll start first on the left with Emergency Master, roof light, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, and upper rear warning. Moving just to the right of this location, an additional switch panel. These will be for your scene lights. We have front flood, driver scene, passenger side scene, lower side scene, rear scene, and rear work lights. When any of the switches have been activated, the green will illuminate in the individual switch. Moving to the right additional switch panel for high beam flash, Opticom, 2 future switch locations, aerial master, and aerial PTO. Let's look now to the center of the roofline area. As we look to the center, you'll find a red light. If it's flashing, indicating do not move your apparatus, you may have a compartment or door ajar. Also, you'll find your seatbelt information, red indicating someone is in the seat and not belted, green they're in the seat and belted. You'll also find behind the driver's seat your battery charger and also 12-volt access. To the rear of the apparatus, you'll find a roll-up compartment. Let's move to the exterior now, where you'll find a shoreline inlet and also air eject. Down to the front axle, Michelin tires, Alcoa wheel, visual sight gauge into the center of the axle. Moving into the rear cab, let's start first with the door panel. Affixed to the door panel are safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch, window control, and a grab handle. Overhead, you'll find your air conditioning unit. As we move to the rear-facing location, you'll find 2 rear-facing seats which will house SCBA brackets. Also, inside grab handle located on the rear cab door. As we look to the EMS compartment in the center, you'll find adjustable shelving, LED lighting. Toward the rear of the engine, you'll find your fill locations and also daily check for oil and transmission. Moving to the rear of the officer seat, you'll find 12-volt access via bus panel. And as we move to the exterior, on the very rear cab wall, you'll find an additional storage compartment. As we move to the pump panel area at the very top section, you'll find your crosslays located at the top. Also a warning placard indicating entanglement hazard. Because of those lines coming out, there is the possibility of entanglement. So we have crosslay 1, 2, and a 2.5 inch, and also a 2.5 inch. In the gray module, you'll find master intake gauge and master discharge gauge. Also the test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. To the right, pressure throttle governor. Moving further to the right, your switch panel, you'll also have an OK to pump indicator along with scene lights and panel lights. Moving down, you'll find your aerial discharge. This is a wheel valve. Also audible alarm via this black speaker located here. The outer edge of that bezel does rotate, allowing it to dampen sound. To the right is your tank fill and recirculating line. Further to the right, you'll find your engine cooler. And then just beneath that, you'll find the tank to pump, water level LED indicator in the blue module. And then just underneath that, at the very bottom, you'll find your large diameter passenger side discharge, which is also a wheel valve. Your fire pump primer, which is a push to prime air prime, at least 1,000 RPMs for best practices while drafting. And in the blue module, once again, water tank level indicator. As we move down, you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharges. Moving down on the pump panel, we'll find a few things. We have a warning placard here indicating pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. Also, danger. This vehicle ladder is not insulated, an electrocution hazard. Minimum operation maintenance schedule for your apparatus pump. And then also a warning here, only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, and that's only after proper training. You'll also find a 2.5 inch discharge located on this side. As we move down and slightly to the right, you'll find a warning placard here. When climbing on or off the vehicle, make sure that you face the vehicle. Pierce logo, American flag eagle, large diameter pump inlet, and then also the Watras placard indicating the type and GPM of your pump. At the bottom, all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains, along with a driver's side auxiliary inlet locally controlled via the ball valve. All the way to the very far right at the bottom of the pump panel is where you'll find your main pump drain and also manual pump shift. There is a step that pulls out and folds out for access here. As we move to the stabilizer, just above that, you'll find additional storage. Lift and turn latch gains you access into this location. We do have a warning crush injury hazard because of the movement of the stabilizer location here. As we move into the compartments, adjustable shelving and a pull-out tray. At the very top, you'll find a shoreline outlet. When plugged into shoreline power, this will become active. At the bottom, a pull-out tray, release located on the lower right-hand side. As we move to the over wheel compartment, you'll find the DEF fill location just to the front of the rear axle. Also, danger, indicating electrocution hazard. The ladder is non-insulated. As we move to the in-between axle area, you'll find SCBA bottle storage. 4.5 US gallons on the DEF tank. Moving now in between the rear axles, this is your SCBA bottle storage. Tandem axles, Michelin tires, Alcoa wheel. Moving just to the rear of the axle, you'll have an additional door for storage and fill location for your ultra low sulfur diesel. It is the silver cap, along with SCBA bottle storage location. Moving to the rear portion, you'll find adjustable shelving and a pull-out tray. In this compartment also, you'll find when plugged into shoreline power, you have an outlet. Pull-out tray in the lower section, release located on the lower right. As we move to the rear stabilizer, also a warning for crush injury hazard because of the movement of that stabilizer, and then also when climbing on or off the vehicle, always face the vehicle. As we move to the rear stairs, you have an access panel, and as we move now around to the rear of the apparatus, we'll identify a few items within this space. Starting first, you have a rear scene light, work light, danger placard indicating electrocution hazard because the ladder is not insulated. As we move down onto the rear portion of the aerial device, you'll find a warning placard here indicating pressure hazard. Moving just to the right, you'll find your aerial inlet pressure gauge. Moving further to the right, you'll find an inclinometer. This is from left to right, and then also the American flag eagle Pierce logo is your aerial inlet. To the right hand side, you have two protruding tie downs located here. These are for warning, direct pull only. As we move into the ladder compartment into the torque box area, we do have an additional warning placard here indicating fall injury. Never ride on the vehicle while it's in motion. You have a 2-section 35 and a 2-section 24. Also a 2-section 28, 10-foot folding, and a 16-foot roof. You'll also find your relief valve and drain valve located in the pan door. Moving just to the right in the lower compartment, this is your override compartment. You'll find first aerial or stabilizer control function switch, and then all of your manual switches are located in the compartment, along with instructions on the lower section of the door panel. We also have some danger and warning placard regarding pressure hazard because of the pressure within the hydraulic system, and then also tip over and structural failure hazard for short jacking. As we move to the warning placards here, once again, fall injury, never ride on the vehicle, and then also an entanglement warning hazard. Because of the lines coming from this area, there is the possibility of entanglement. You'll also find your master control located here. This is the emergency stop. You'll also find an override, stabilizer power, and diagnostic port. This is the remote for controlling your stabilizers, and then also a warning regarding stability hazard on short jacking the vehicle on any side. Access ladder. As we look inside the access ladder behind the rear wall, you'll find an additional access panel. As we look to the stabilizer just forward of this location, once again we have a crush injury hazard because of the movement of that stabilizer. As we move to the next compartment on the passenger side, you'll find on the rear wall, once again when plugged into shoreline power, the outlet will become active. Moving now to the over wheel compartment, SCBA bottle storage to the rear of the axle. tandem axle located in the rear, Michelin tires, Alcoa wheel. Forward section of the overwheel compartment, adjustable shelf, SCBA bottle storage in between for 3 bottles. And then as we move to the forward axle. Back up now to that upper compartment storage. Additional warning placard here indicating danger, electrocution hazard. The aerial device is not insulated, and then also storage location for bottle storage. Extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist, especially during regen operation. Be careful where you park your vehicle. As you move to the forward compartment, adjustable shelves and also a lower portion pull-out tray. In the lower section, we have a shoreline outlet. When plugged into shoreline power, that will become active. Also, pull-out tray in the lower section, release located on the lower right. Over the stabilizer compartment, you'll find a lift and turn latch will gain you access into this storage location. Crush injury hazard warning regarding the movement of that aerial device. As we move to the midsection or pump panel area, we'll go over a few items here, starting first with your crosslays. There are 4 located in this space, along with a warning placard indicating entanglement hazard because of those lines coming from aloft. As we move into the pump panel area, warning placard indicating fall injury, never ride on the vehicle, and when climbing on or off, always face the vehicle. You would have access panels in the pump panel area. Along with your cab lift, there is caution and danger information, along with to raise and to lower your cab instructions. Inside the pan door here is your relief valve. Down at the very bottom, you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. As we move to the bottom, you'll find a cutout here for hose storage and then also a drop-down or fold-down step. Let's move into the cab section next. We'll start at the rear portion of the cab with an additional compartment at the rear. D-handle gains you access into that space. Along with your door panel, you'll find affixed to the door panel safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch combination, electric window control, and a grab handle. We've previously discussed inside the rear, we have 2 rear-facing seats which do house SCBA brackets, EMS compartment. As we move to the front axle, you'll find Michelin tires, Alcoa wheel, and a visual sight gauge. Moving now into the officer space, where you'll find affixed to the door panel safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch, combination for window control and grab handle. Moving into the cab area on the A-pillars, where you'll find the fill location for your windshield wiper fluid. At the floor level, you'll find mechanical siren foot pedal. As we move to the forward section, you'll find your vehicle is equipped with a supplemental restraint system, an airbag, and also a warning placard indicating the mounting of equipment within this area. MDT mount here that does slide toward the officer seat, along with 12-volt access via barrel style. As we look overhead of the officer position, you'll find on the outer edge your electronic siren and PA speaker system. Just inside that location toward the center, you'll find an additional switch panel of rocker switches, air horn, passenger scene, driver scene, and front flood. You'll also find red and white individual labels here indicating spare wiring behind the panel. Please do not remove the sticker until your maintenance team has had a time to identify. As we move to the front bumper extension, you'll find a swivel discharge. This is on the officer side. Lift and turn latch gains you access into the storage location for your front hose load. In the bottom space, you'll find dry deck material. Let's move now into the master stream device overhead on your ladder. This is to release and lower the waterway to a lower pinnable location, along with 2 floodlights on each side and your master stream device. As we move to the ladder itself, let's move to the pedestal section next. We'll start on the left-hand side. We do have some warning and danger placards on the pedestal. Let's take a look under the cover area where you'll find in the forward section your intercom system. And then let's move into the outer edge where you'll find your push to talk and then also volume control on the intercom. As you move to the forward section, you'll find an emergency stop, aerial speed for normal or fast, and then also emergency hydraulic power. As we move down, we have lighting here, so you'll find tip tracking lights and then also running lights. As we move to the right, you'll find your touch screen and also function button. Underneath, nozzle control for fog stream, raise, lower, and right and left, and stow position. As we move to the ascendant aerial cover, you'll find waterway dry and also waterway charged with a 35-mile-an-hour wind. This is your load chart along with your monitor positions for operating while flowing water. Also on the cover, you'll find warning regarding crush injury hazard along with additional warning placards and then also danger placards because your vehicle is not insulated. As we move down to the forward or tip section, you'll find chainsaw storage on both left and right side of your ladder, along with the ability to lower your nozzle position to a lower position on the fly. Please see the owner's manual for its operation, along with nozzle control for raise, lower, right, left, straight stream, or fog. Here is the connection here to lower that to a lower position. On the outside edge, you'll find your tracking and tip lights on and off switch. Moving to the left, you'll find your intercom, volume control. The system is passive. On the outside edge, this is the handle for lowering that nozzle position on the fly. And then also you'll find your master stream device located just under the ladder position. As we look to the right and left of the cab area, this is a non-walking surface, and that's why we have these warning placards. As we move back to the pedestal area, this is your override for control of raise, lower, right, left, and up and down. Moving now to the lower section of the pedestal, you'll find some additional warnings here regarding tip over hazard if short jacking the vehicle on one side or the other. Also regarding fall injury restraint that is required, and also movement for crush injury. As we move to the top section, you'll find your top fill water tank location. Moving now to the storage location for your supply hose on the right hand side, and then also dunnage location here in the very forward section. The next set of images are going to be that of the engine and engine chassis. Just as a reminder, when tilting your cab, maintain equal cab pressure on both left and right cylinders. Once the cab has been fully raised, please place the safety bar into position. Do not lower the cab onto the safety bar. Your vehicle is equipped with a TAC 4 independent front suspension. As we move through the rest of the images here, there will be no additional audio from this point on. Congratulations, Lynden, Washington Fire Department, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 40254. If you have any questions, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.